Hello guys and welcome to the Heroes of the Storm Road to BlizzCon North American Open. We have casted a full day and we are back for another one, right Anna?
Absolutely. I am really excited. We just got the draft link for our first match, so
got it.
that is there. But yes, guys, welcome. I'm so excited to be here for the July NA Open on the road to BlizzCon. We were here yesterday all day, and we are back today, and I'm raring to go on these matches. Super excited. First, we have Late Night Legends and To Be Determined, which actually is the team name, not a description.
Yeah, I did try to spell it out instead of just TBD to try not to confuse you guys. I think you were maybe a little bit confused until the TBD guys kind of showed up in chat, told you what was up, explained the situation, and now we're all set. We're going to have Late Night Legends versus To Be Determined, and it will be another best of 3. We had several of those yesterday. We made it actually all the way through to the round of 8 in the top half of the bracket, and we know that Tempo Storm, Pool Play-Doh, some Tangos, Goon Squad Incorporated, and Cloud9 Vortex are all moving on to the round of 8 next weekend, and it's time to find 4 more teams who will join them there.
Yes, indeed. And will it be one of these? I don't know, Gilly. I'm not familiar with either of these teams. I think I've casted To Be Determined before, I feel like. Have we done that together?
We have casted To Be Determined together.
Yeah. Yes, I don't remember too much about their playstyle, but I'm excited to see them go. I saw a good suggestion from Daniel J. Newman in chat that they should draft a short hero comp, meaning like Lily and Muradin and Murky and all of the short. Yeah. I think it's a viable strategy. I think they could try it.
I think so as well. And I don't have that draft link, so if you
let me grab it for you.
Okay, I can't actually go into chat, so you have to let me know the number.
Sure, 16887.
All right, I got it.
Cool, cool.
That way we can. Looks like we're still waiting on that, so we can talk a little bit more about some of the cool stuff that we saw yesterday, some of the cool stuff we'll be seeing today. Of course, we largely got to follow the plays yesterday, who made it all the way to the round of 16 and then were taken out by Goon Squad Incorporated to move on to the round of 8. And the plays were showing some fantastic plays, but the Goon Squad really showing us some amazing drafts, especially that game where they kind of outdrafted and ended up forcing the plays into playing a Lily.
Yeah, that was a really, really cool draft because they really needed a support. They had to go with either Lily or Brightwing, basically. And they decided to opt for the Lily, which is kind of a sad story for your favorite little Brightwing there.
I know. Well, I'm repping her on my shirt at least.
Nice.
So there's that. Somebody loves Brightwing still. I got you with my little fairy dragon.
Well, speaking of draft, it looks like Late Night Legends actually just went ahead and banned, and To Be Determined followed up, so we're ready to go ahead into that draft if you want.
All right, let's hop over to that. Oh, there we go. And it seems like we're going to have Johanna banned from Late Night Legends on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and also a ban on Sylvanas. So understandable to see the Johanna ban. We've seen a lot of Johanna Azmodan pickups on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's really easy to rotate them around and try to take out as many minions as possible. So it makes sense that if they're trying to stop that sort of play, instead of trying to outright ban Azmodan, they're trying to maybe just discourage it by banning Johanna instead. But Sylvanas also a good choice of a ban.
Yeah, certainly, because we've talked about how multi-tool-like Sylvanas is. She can do so many things, and on this map, especially her ability to be somewhere very quickly, in terms of this map being very small, means that she can be used in a team fight and then the next second be pushing in a lane, and it's really tough to keep her from being all over the place all the time. So I definitely can understand that ban. And I can also understand these first 2 picks. We've seen how important burst comps can be in this competition and in tournaments past, so we're going to see Jaina and Kael'thas facing off as the first picks for both these teams.
Yes, and Muradin to follow for To Be Determined, as well as they're going to be really looking for a strong front line to make sure that they can keep those squishy heroes that will be in the back line safe, like Kael'thas and Jaina. I also really like the ban from Johanna to try to discourage that Johanna Azmodan play, knowing that Late Night Legends want to go for the Kael'thas. So they're looking to scale into the late game. Of course, he gets a huge power spike at 16 with Ignite, and by discouraging the Johanna Azmodan, they're they're kind of making sure that they'll scale into the late game better than their opponents by making sure that, okay, well, you won't be collecting stacks on the Azmodan, so you won't also be trying to go to that late game. Additionally,
Whoa.
Late Night Legends going very damage heavy with the rest of their choices. They're going to pick up Vala and Illidan.
I love this just aggro draft right now. Like, they just want to get in there and wreck face, and that's their absolute priority. What they're saying with this is, it's fine, we don't really care what warrior and what support we have as long as we have these damage dealers at the forefront. So, also, I want to point out, we did see a no warrior composition with Illidan yesterday. So it is possible that they're drafting this way because they're not even concerned about having a warrior, period.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you've made, and I think it's entirely possible that we could see that from Late Night Legends here. They've banned Johanna. They've kind of forced To Be Determined to pick up that Muradin, and they've even chosen to pick Illidan into the Muradin, knowing full well that Muradin is one of the answers that you normally have versus those melee assassins like Illidan. So Late Night Legends are not at all deterred by the fact that Muradin's not there. And now, if Late Night Legends are going for a no warrior composition, they're loving this ban that To Be Determined almost kind of wasted because they picked up they banned a new Brack. With the ban on Uther, though, that's a little bit interesting, as To Be Determined are the ones who get to pick up their support next, and that kind of limits the support. I'm hoping it won't backfire, as To Be Determined could pick up Rhaegar and Malfurion and say, well, good luck keeping those alive.
Yeah, that is interesting, because if I'm Late Night Legends, I'm, crossing my fingers, probably hoping that I'm going to have an Uther, because Uther is the tankiest of the supports. I can kind of use him to up my sustainability if I am doing the no warrior composition. What that says to me is that it's more important to them that To Be Determined does not have Uther than it is to them that they have Uther. And I think it could backfire, so I'm kind of wondering why you think it's so important that Late Night Legends does not want to play against Uther.
Well, it seems like they're trying to limit out some of the stun potential to go along with Muradin, as Uther and Muradin together is a lot of stuns, and then you can kind of throw Tyrande on top of that. And that is a ton of stuns to have to deal with, especially when you're Illidan and trying to jump into the back line. So I think they're trying to limit some of those chain stuns, and they've done so now. With Rhaegar being picked up, really the only thing he can do is slow with his Earthbind Totem. And so they are going to have a lot of slows, but we're going to have the Butcher come out. So another melee assassin will join the ranks, this time on the side of To Be Determined, who has kind of a setup, a standard lineup already, but that's not a standard choice at all. Late Night Legends going for Diablo, and I think this is going to surprise a lot of people.
Okay, this is really funny, because in the lobby before this game, as sometimes happens, we casters got put into the team roster, and we were joking about how we were going to play, and Gilly said, Anna plays a mean Diablo, and then we had this whole string of jokes about heroes that are kind of defunct, that nobody picks anymore, and they went ahead and picked Diablo, and they're going to follow that up with a Lily, who was part of that same stream of jokes. So,
yeah, we were joking about Lily, too.
I mean, either they're just trolling us, or this is a really exciting new composition.
Well, either way, I'm pretty pumped to see them make Diablo Lily work along with the Kael'thas, Vala, and Illidan. You wouldn't think that Lily would be the choice when wanting to keep Illidan alive. He's going to need a lot of healing when jumping into the back line, and and Lily's a little bit difficult because she can't choose who her heals go to. It's completely based on who's in range as well as who is lowest. So now To Be Determined has a really scary lineup. They have Tyrande on top of the Butcher. That's one of those classic, like, you really want to get that comp together. And they also have the Tyrande on top of a Muradin, another composition you really like to have together. That is a frightening composition to go up against for Late Night Legends. I hope they have something up their sleeve here for sure with these pickups.
Gilly, tell us a little bit more about, the Butcher is a new hero, so people may not know him as well. What makes him so great with Tyrande?
So the idea of the Butcher is that once you catch up to somebody, you do just an insane amount of damage. And it's really hard for them to get away because you have Ruthless Onslaught, which is a charge that makes you unstoppable and goes straight up to somebody very squishy like a Kael'thas, and then from there they're stunned for a little bit. So if he gets there, and then on top of it you've got Tyrande on top of things with her Lunar Flare, she's going to drop that on top to continue the stuns. Muradin can jump in and even be able to throw out a Stormbolt and stun as well. Then in that amount of time, the Butcher's going to drop the Butcher's Brand on you. He's going to start healing up from his attacks and doing a ton of damage. And once he gets that Furnace Blast, it's going to be goodbye to one of your squishies.
Goodbye, farewell. And the teams are just figuring out how to get into this game. We actually have some teams that are a little bit newer to the competition scene, so that's really cool, and that's something that's awesome about this NA Open that we have going on here. This is where you can come if you're a team that wants to kind of cut your teeth on the competitive scene and potentially have the opportunity to play some of the very well-established pro teams that are also here. It's a really cool meeting ground. And let's talk a little bit as they get this started, Gilly, about the road to BlizzCon and what we're actually doing here in terms of this, what's going to come out of this competition.
Sure, so guys, this is the road to BlizzCon. So the ultimate goal is indeed to get to BlizzCon. It's a completely open tournament, which means that anybody can make a team and come in and play. From there, we've got a ton of teams who will be playing. Once we get to the round of 8, that will be broadcasted next weekend as well. So it's kind of over a 2-weekend span, so we can really get to know a lot of these teams who are entering the game. From there, the winner of the last Open, so for June, and then first and second place for July and first and second place from August will all move on to the Americas Championship. And then there will be a few more teams who join them from different regions, and there's going to be an Americas Championship, there'll be a Chinese one, there'll be a European one too, there's also going to be a Taiwanese and Korean one too. From those championships will emerge 8 teams who will get the chance to fight in the first ever Heroes of the Storm World Championship at BlizzCon in November. So that's what all these teams are trying to get to. But even if you don't get that far, there's still a ton of prizing available. I'll show you this prizing sheet. All the way down into the round of 32, teams will be getting some payouts, which is really neat to see from Blizzard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see that Blizzard believes so much in investing in this game, and also that the wealth is being shared, if you will, that everyone who competes is being rewarded. Not everyone, but a large amount of people who compete are being rewarded, and these teams are up for that now. It looks like they are ready, and we should get into this game very soon. It is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is the smallest map in our pool. This battleground is sometimes called the Knife Fight in the Closet by Blizzard developers, and that means that we're going to see a lot of movement because it's easy to go between the lanes here. It does not take a long amount of time, and you can kind of be everywhere at once because everywhere is right there.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of rotations because those lanes are so close together, and so we might even see teams trying to pick up some surprise kills from the shadows. They'll emerge and try to catch out somebody from the other team, especially from that draft we saw from To Be Determined. I really think that we'll be seeing them try to do something like that as they I'm trying to fix the overlay a little bit here, as they do have a lot of those stuns that we mentioned, and they can rotate around, hopefully stun somebody who might be out of position just a little bit, and then be able to take them out and get ahead in terms of experience that way.
Absolutely. Looking at this draft, man, Late Night Legends coming out with Kael'thas, Vala, and Illidan, I thought, okay, that's super duper scary. And that is still a composition, a group of heroes that's really scary. But then adding Diablo and Lily now against To Be Determined, the question is, what are they going to have to do to make sure that that scales into that late game, like you said, because that's when Kael'thas and a lot of damage-dealing heroes get very, very strong.
When you're looking at a composition that has sort of one of those late game focused heroes, the idea is that you just want to try not to lose too much by that point. A lot of times, if you've lost, say, more structures, but not too many, like maybe not any keeps, by the time that you roll around and you've got that Ignite on Kael'thas, you can really start owning and then start turning the tides. It only takes a fort and a keep down to be able to attack a core, so you can lose like some kind of lateral structures as long as you don't really start losing a lot of those keeps, because that does mean catapults will be spawning. But let's go ahead and introduce these teams. Late Night Legends will be in blue with Hell's General playing Vala. On Diablo will be Vault. That doesn't seem right. Robotic Demon on Kael'thas. Judge Dredd will be playing Illidan, and Lily is being played by Big Daddy Love.
Big Daddy Love on the little panda.
And with with the hearts from the pony as well. So cute.
All right, To Be Determined is going to be wearing red. We're going to have Urameshi on Rhaegar, Saiths on Tyrande, Dr. Shakalo on Jaina, Matt Damon playing Muradin, and Twitch playing the Butcher.
And just already they've started showing the power of their composition as they were able to take out Illidan, who was just a little bit far forward. He was just in the middle of the lane. He was like, hey guys, we'll hang out in the middle, it'll be fine. And they were like, no, you will stay right on your side this entire time.
And that is kind of the name of the game. These two turn-in points in the middle of the map are so sacred to your success on this battleground. And if your team manages to push the lane so far that being out in the middle is impossible for your team, like that, then you're going to have trouble turning in gems, and therefore you're going to have trouble winning the game.
Yeah, and that was the combo that I mentioned before, that ruthless onslaught from the Butcher, stuns, and then instantly Tyrande is right behind to throw out a Lunar Flare for a second stun. They even had Jaina there, who slows with her abilities and of course does a ton of damage with them too, so poor Kael'thas stood no chance. Now he's standing pretty far back here, just going to try to soak up some experience and then pick up whatever gems he safely can.
Yeah. Late Night Legends are really going to need experience. They're going to need to make sure that their experience does not fall behind early in the game, because if it does, they're not going to have a great way to catch up with, like you said, these stuns and these massive teamfight abilities, combinations that we're seeing from To Be Determined.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They've lost a few heroes, and already that's shown as we've got level 4 talents picked up by To Be Determined. They're going to be grabbing some more sustainable talents with the healing from Rhaegar as well as the protective shield. Looks like Judge Dredd will also go down, continuing to be the... it looks like Kael'thas and Illidan are the objects of that ruthless onslaught from the Butcher, who's been rotating consistently between lanes to try to pick up takedowns.
Big Daddy Love was laning with Illidan, so I think, as you mentioned, Lily not being able to decide who her heals go to, they're trying to make sure that those two stay together and that her heals are not wasted on someone else, perhaps. But it didn't work, because he did not get healed enough.
Alright, well, the next takedown has been had. Twitch continuing his scary onslaught of takedowns as he's going to move into the bottom lane. What's really frightening, too, is we saw him take down Kael'thas at the gate of the blue side. So not even really concerned about that tower damage. It's just going to continue to find anybody he possibly can, charge into them, and then from more stuns be able to take them out.
To Be Determined now has 46 gems turned in. Saith's has 4 on his person and is going to turn them in right now. That means that Web Weavers are going to start for To Be Determined very soon at only 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game.
Yeah, these super early turn-ins means they are going to be looking more to pick up some early tower takedowns. We probably won't see them push too far into dealing damage on a fort unless they can get some takedowns right around the same time. They will be at a talent advantage, so they may be a little more interested in pushing a little bit further, especially if they can get a takedown here, as Diablo is getting pretty low. Will they be able to get him? It looks like so. And now we're going to see the rest of the members try to back up. However, stuns are going down on Robotic Demon, who's having a tough time getting away. But a great Blizzard will come down, be able to take down the Butcher, and that's going to be nice. That's going to reduce his stacks of fresh meat. That also means that it's going to be a little bit of time, at least, where they won't have him pushing along with the Web Weavers. And they might have a bit of a rest break where they can rotate around and try to take out the Web Weavers before he really gets back into lane.
I'm sad to see Diablo going down so early in a lot of these fights. I would like to see them using some of his unique abilities in ways that we haven't seen before in this post-patch period, as we call it. I am excited to see maybe how they are expecting to use his heroic on this map, because with all the nooks and crannies, his Apocalypse or Lightning Breath may be really effective. And hopefully that might synergize well with what they've got going on with Lily, but that's a very hopeful a hopeful hope, because we have so much synergy already from To Be Determined that even if it's great, I don't know if it can stand up to what they're going to be doing as well.
Yeah, well, they've caught up at least in talent tiers for now. They actually only lost 2 towers, which is pretty nice there, especially because of how scary that push was looking. So they're going to maybe be able to push back out a little bit more on the map. I think once we see them being able to group up too, they'll feel a lot more confident with engagements. But for now, you're right. They have to soak. A good Vault's going to come in and be able to cancel that Ruthless Onslaught. And she's going to send the Butcher elsewhere here.
Looks like Matt Damon, the movie star who is playing in this tournament, is already turning in some more gems. 23 is the count already for To Be Determined. We have yet to have a single gem turned in on behalf of Late Night Legends. And like you said, the thing is they're just having to sit back and soak until they have a little bit more of a wombo that they can push forward onto the onto the map. Judge Dredd actually pushing a little far forward, trying to get that turn in, perhaps not being able to, getting stunned and taken down very quickly. Vault trying to take some of the hits for his team. Actually is going to pull Twitch back into the damage, but is going to pay for it with his life. Now it is 3-on-4, and it looks like To Be Determined doesn't like those odds. They're going to disengage and look to turn in just a few more gems.
Yeah, I think we'll also see Late Night Legends trying to turn in and top. Muradin is going to come in. Matt Damon's going to say, no, thank you. You cannot turn in. We will be the ones to do that. But Hell's General is still going to try. It looks like Vault with a really great overpower trying to stop him from stopping Vala, but Vala will be able to get the turn in now, so they only need about 26 more, and Blue Web Weavers will descend. So this is going to be nice. This is going to push back the lanes a little bit for Late Night Legends, but they've got to be careful because their opponents are nearly to 10, and they will have those heroic abilities to try to engage with.
Absolutely. We see that level 10 is coming right away, and Web Weavers are actually spawning for Late Night Legends. They will, of course, go into the lane where the lane is pushed to. So we see in the mid lane, that's going to be a little bit further than center, and in the top and bottom lanes, it's actually going to be pretty close to their walls. So those are going to have to defend a little bit against some waves that already exist there.
And there come those heroic abilities as the Starfall will drop and the Water Elemental. 3 members down, 4th will go down as well, and that's a whole lot of gems that have been lost from Late Night Legends. Hell's General is going to come in and be able to pick them up, though. Now the Web Weavers are pushing, but unfortunately for Late Night Legends, they're not really going to be able to push with them. So these probably aren't going to get very much work done already. We see To Be Determined doing a great job of separating out, taking them out very quickly. No towers will even go down to help Late Night Legends catch back up in experience.
Gilly, sorry to do this to you. I just need like 30 seconds personal human moment. Be right back, okay?
You're totally fine. Let's look at the heroic abilities that To Be Determined did pick up. They've got the Ancestral Healing as well as the Starfall that we saw, Water Elemental, Avatar, and then the Furnace Blast for the Butcher. Meanwhile, looking at some of the other talents that we do see as well, we do have Shake It Off for Lily, so realizing that she's up against a team that has a lot of stuns and wants to kind of reduce the duration from those because she needs to be able to continue healing for her teammates. Looking at Illidan, we also have the First Aid, so really trying to mitigate the damage that's being put out from the opponents, but having a hard time doing so as Kael'thas is also going to go down. But we do have heroic abilities for Late Night Legends now. They're going to grab Apocalypse. We also have the Hunt from Illidan. That's new, as well as Jug of 1,000 Cups, the Phoenix, and then also Reign of Vengeance from Vala. So we'll have to see what they're planning to do with all of these. Right now, they just need to stay alive, though, as the Furnace Blast is going to come in. Will it be able to take out Lily? Yes, it will be able to do so. The Water Elemental did a great job of slowing her down and softening her up. Now the Phoenix is down. Apocalypse goes down as well. A lot of stuns on To Be Determined, but no one really taken out. They're low, they're going to back off a little bit. There goes the Hunt, but uh-oh, you're in the middle of the rest of the team. Of Ruthless Onslaught will ensure that Illidan gets taken out.
Wow. I'm really interested to see why they chose the Hunt. This is a composition that, like you said, Gilly, we're not sure why they're making these decisions, and I'm wondering what kind of synergy we may be in store for. Now that they've passed level 10, they do have their heroic abilities, and that is where the last of their abilities is revealed. We're not going to see anything brand new with what they're doing after this. So what do you think they're going to try to do to use the Hunt? Is it an answer to Ruthless Onslaught?
So I think the idea is that I don't really know about the Hunt because I would think that it would be Apocalypse and Reign of Vengeance to kind of like continually chain stun. And then from there they can throw the Phoenix down, and then I guess maybe I would think that Illidan want to drop Metamorphosis on some of those stunned heroes to get up, but maybe the idea is that you can just kind of chase down somebody like a Jaina or Toronto who might be a little bit back, who might be a little bit low from the initial start of the team fight, and then make sure that they can take somebody out there. But it does kind of put him out in the middle of the team just like we saw, and that's a problem when you've got the Butcher because he can easily run up to you, charge you, stun you, and then from there, if Tyrande or Muradin are still up, they're going to be able to continually drop stuns on him to ensure that he gets taken out.
Right, if Illidan were the tank for this team, like we mentioned, in a no-warrior composition, then maybe it would make more sense for him to be out in the middle, but as it is, he's a squishy assassin that needs to be protected by that warrior, and Diablo has not been farther forward than him in many of these situations.
Yeah, Diablo's got the Apocalypse, so I am excited to see him use that in some of those tighter corridors if they can force To Be Determined to kind of engage into something like that. They had a lot of stuns going down, like they dropped the Apocalypse and then the stun from Kael'thas, but now we've got another engagement. Twitch is going to go in with the Furnace Blast and melt Kael'thas and Vala down. Apocalypse will go down and stun a whole bunch of members, but not enough to keep Diablo alive. And even Judge Dredd with the hunt now going in on one of the members. Ancestral Healing was able to get that member right back into action, and now Judge Dredd will be down. So 3 members have been taken out. Again, it was 4, but I think Diablo was able to respawn very quickly. So this is going to make To Be Determined feel very comfortable about taking the boss.
Yeah, this is just the right moment to do something like that in one of these so-called throw pits. They know that they can't really be challenged by the few members of the opposing team that are up, but it looks like Late Night Legends are willing to try. They're going to come in. It looks like Phoenix is going to go down. We see a Starfall happening as well. The Butcher with a Gravity Lapse gets very low, but does fall back into the backline and is going to be able to stay alive. Looks like Late Night Legends feel like their odds are not so good. They are going to back off, and the boss will go to Be Determined.
Well, this boss is going to push in toward the fort, but at least it's not moving in toward a keep just yet. So that is some bit of good news for Late Night Legends, but it does mean that they have to deal with this, which means they cannot contest the turn-in point, which they probably wouldn't have wanted to do anyway with the level disparity. So now Web Weavers will be coming in on top of this boss, and Illidan is down. Kael'thas is getting healed up, but it's getting a lot of stun. He's the object of so many stuns there, and Twitch is on the chase for him. He's going to be moving around. It looks like he might just be trying to delay and keep the rest of his teammates safe from that. Poor Volt was just trying to pick up a takedown on Dr. Chocolo, that Jaina, but she even had the ice block that kept her safe. Now it seems like the boss is continually moving in. It's taking out the fort. It's going to take out the towers as well, and a Web Weaver right behind means that we might lose a keep here, which would be a huge push from To Be Determined.
We're seeing so much confidence from To Be Determined. Matt Damon just vaulting in there, carefree, being willing to take lots and lots of hits. I think that at level 16, when their opponents have not even yet reached level 13, To Be Determined knows that they're a little bit untouchable, and they're going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, they are, and they've got tons more damage coming out. They picked up the True Shot Aura, which is going to be so nice for the Butcher, as it's passively granting 15% basic attack damage to nearby allies. That is frightening. And then on top of that, we have Give Him the Axe, which is like Executioner for Murden. So we're even seeing our tank pick up more damage. When you see something like that happening, that's you're in trouble.
Right. Kael'thas gets melted down by a blizzard. Lily is not far behind from, looked like a Furnace Blast from Twitch. Judge Dredd is going to jump in, but quickly jump back out. The mobility of Illidan going to help him there if he can manage to come in and out quickly. But it looks like Hell's General getting stunned over and over will fall next. Vault and Judge Dredd have to fall back to the protection of the core. And with this many health bars open for To Be Determined, they're going to burn right through that keep very quickly, and they may push forward to core.
Yeah, they've taken out the second keep in this game, and it looks like they are going to rotate around, I think, to the third keep as well. They feel like it's a little bit safer of an option. They're not really sure about pushing all the way into core, as the respawn timers for their opponents is pretty low, and they just don't want to overextend, give up any of the lead that they've gotten so far. So they're totally okay with going back, trying to take these bruisers to keep the pressure on while their opponents just try to clear out the minions that have started to push in toward their core.
Yeah, they certainly don't have to take any risks here, and the last thing they want is to kind of make a misstep, have an unlucky takedown, and have to fall back and give up any of the lead that they have amassed so far. We've seen a lot of teams be very careful at this point in the game to make sure that they take out insurance policies, as I like to call them, on their wins. We do see level 18 now for To Be Determined. They're moving toward that level 20, while Late Night Legends have recently picked up their 13.
Yeah, I think we will see To Be Determined to either try to get a turn in or maybe another boss in just a couple of minutes, and then from there try to push in with that, unless they can somehow catch out the rest of Late Night Legends and get a really decisive team fight, and then from there push in and take out the core before they can respawn. They are turning in. They've got a long ways to go, though, as they do have to get to 65, but they have quite a few on their person. They should be able to at least get, yeah, it looks like about halfway. So it won't take too long before they'll have more gems, but they might decide instead to just go and take out somebody, as it looks like Lily might go down. She will indeed, and Illidan will follow.
Yeah, Judge Dredd not able to use that mobility of Illidan when there are so many stuns and slows able to be put upon him. Now Vault and Hell's General are the next line of defense, as it looks like To Be Determined is going to take one more swing at this keep. They are going to be able to melt it down pretty quickly. The Butcher is there, and the Phoenix is going to zone them out. The Starfall does go as well. Hell's General and Robotic Demon looking for the safety of their own base, but get killed on the steps. Vault does respawn now, and Robotic Demon is coming in to help him, but it doesn't look like there's going to be much they can do to the very healthy To Be Determined, who are all here now putting all of their energy on that core.
Yeah, and a Stellar Lunar Flare takes out Kael'thas too, so once again, 2 people down who can't help defend. Judge Dredd's trying to come in and make something happen here, but cannot keep the members of To Be Determined off the core, and we will have the first victory going to Be Determined.
Cool game. I like the creativity from Late Night Legends. They did mention that this is kind of a new thing for them, so we may have a team that's coming in a little bit fresh, and that's really cool. I like the new ideas they're bringing to us. I like the things they were trying, but it looks like in this case, Gilly, it didn't quite work out for them.
Yeah, not quite. I think it was sort of a case of newbies versus a little bit more seasoned teams who have participated in a little more things. Like I mentioned before, we'd casted here To Be Determined in a couple of different heroes type things and otherwise. So really great play from To Be Determined, but I'm loving the innovation from our friends on the other team. I can't even think of the name right now.
Late Night Legends.
Late Night Legends, that's right. Sorry guys, we go through so many team names through these 2 days. But yeah, I'm really liking the innovation. I hope we'll see a little bit more of it. I am wondering what battleground we might get to see in the next game as well.
Any predictions on that?
Who had the first pick?
It was...
I think it was...
Late Night Legends.
All right, so I think... I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I think we might see like a Cursed Hollow.
Yeah.
Something a little more standard. That something too that it's not so I don't know not so scary to have those rotations, which we're coming at them constantly. So if something like that was to be run again from Late Night Legends, at least the lanes would be a little bit further apart. They probably have more time to try to back off and get away if something like that were coming. But we'll have to see what they choose. We're going to take a quick break while we get that game set up. When we come back, game 2 of this best of 3. See you guys soon.